Hey everybody, happy Monday. Here's to a great week. Hopefully a lot less stressful and chaotic than last week was. One of the many things that I wanted to hop on and talk about today was the outages that we experienced last week. So on Tuesday, for several hours globally, Instagram and Facebook became unavailable to most, if not all, users. And people for days after that were still experiencing trouble logging into their accounts, accessing their social media, and all sorts of fun things like that. It happens rarely, but it does happen, right? Any sort of, like anything, digital or tangible, there are vulnerabilities and things can happen. So I did want to just address that. And then also that LinkedIn and the artist formerly known as Twitter, now called X, also went down later in the week. So last week for my team was way more hectic than we planned at the outset. It was kind of messages going back and forth, content that we had spent a lot of time on planning for clients, scheduling for clients didn't go out. We were getting a lot of messages about like, what do we do about this? A lot of concern about, what if it takes a long time to come back? What happens to all of the stuff that we've paid for and are working on? So those are some concerns, but again, happens rarely. The last one was October 2021, and we took that opportunity to remind people about all of the other options out there. So you've got email campaigns, other social media platforms, direct mail, also an option still in this day and age. So that could be part of your marketing mix for sure. So important to diversify for sure in case that does happen again. And then also a good reminder to capture your leads from social media and take them elsewhere, right? So a lot of the content that you see is promoting something outside of social media. The app wants you to keep people in the app and watching videos and engaging with your content, but it is important for sure to take the leads that you get from social media and bring them into the real world, whether that's through your email list or booking links, but just getting people from where you connect them on social media to other places as well. So in the event that either you as an individual do lose access to your account, or if we have another outage, you're still able to connect with people and you don't lose those leads in the audience entirely. So a lot of the content that we do for clients prioritizes real world sales and bringing them into the sphere beyond just Instagram and Facebook or LinkedIn and Twitter that also experienced problems last week. So that was one of the first things I want to talk about. I also wanted to address TikTok and some of the things that are going on potentially with future bans. There's a lot of controversy, and this started last year. I think it was around the same time last year that there were legislation proposed talking about who's allowed to access TikTok. Are there security concerns? So currently, government employees and contractors are actually not allowed to use TikTok. They're not allowed to have it on their devices. So we may potentially see that spread to larger groups of people. I have a content creator that I was talking to last week, and she said she logged in and there was a notification that said, hey, you might lose access to TikTok entirely. There may be other concerns and things there. So we don't know what will happen. It's really hard to predict. It could disappear tomorrow, just like anything, or it could be around for good and is still a viable way to connect with people. So again, goes back to that importance of diversifying where you're showing up, and then also taking the people that you connect with from social media out of social media and into the real world and engaging with your business elsewhere. So yeah, we won't know what will happen for a while, and there's a lot of talk about other things that could happen with it. If somebody in the US bought it, then that would change a lot of the legislation and I think address some of the security concerns. So there are people talking about potentially divesting, investing, and all sorts of fun stuff. I would say hang tight, keep doing what you're doing for now. So if you are active on TikTok, stick with it for the time being, and then we'll just kind of keep an ear to the ground and see what happens over the next few weeks and months to see if there are any changes that have to happen with that. So that leads me into my third topic for today, which is the importance of sort of social media literacy and checking your sources, especially when it comes to people talking about what works online. There's a lot of clickbait. There's a lot of people that are saying, they know exactly how everything works and they have the best strategy. So I just want people to be careful about where they're getting their information from. There's a trend going on right now in Threads where people are saying, oh, I just got off a call with Meta and here's what they said you have to do. And if you want more information, buy my course, right? So please be wary of anybody that is trying to sell how the algorithm works exactly, or steal my strategy for how these things work. A lot of those are, even if they mean well, if I'm being really generous in my interpretation, even if they mean well, they don't have all of the answers, and it's not like with anything in marketing, it's not one size fits all, right? You have an individual business, you're offering something unique. So what worked for somebody else may not work for you. But there has been an uptick recently in people that are selling courses or selling, digital downloads and ebooks based on strategies that don't really exist, or are saying, I know better than anybody how this works. The algorithm is a little bit of a mystery to anyone that's actually an expert. There are things that we know that do and don't work, but you can find in as many articles that say do this, don't do that, that say the opposite. And really people are just putting that out to get views, clicks, and ultimately to get people to buy their course. So just be careful about that. If you have any questions about how things work, I'm happy to answer them to my best of my ability, but anybody that's offering any sort of guarantee or says that they just got off a call with Mark Zuckerberg, that did not happen. Meta's customer support has their own ways that they work, and we know about them. We can talk about that offline. But there's somebody that's sitting on a chat with them and figuring out exactly the key to hacking the algorithm. And a lot of those videos that you see now too will even say, this is how I went viral. They weren't viral before. They weren't running a multi-million-dollar business before. They actually started getting viral views and growing by using those keywords and being clickbait. So I just want you guys to be out there informed and being careful. So that's a little tip for social media literacy. That's pretty much it for today. I had 3 topics. I'll post the video after the fact, so anybody that didn't catch it live can still tune in and check out. We talked about the outages last week. And again, anybody that emailed me or is waiting to hear back from me, I'm taking longer than usual, mostly because last week was so chaotic with everything kind of shutting down and shifting around. So we talked about outages. We talked about changes potentially coming to TikTok. And then also about checking your sources when you're scrolling and when you're looking at social media strategy. And if you're at the point where social media is becoming overwhelming for you and you want some support, please reach out. I'm happy to offer a variety of options from me and my team, whether it's just a little bit of guidance and tutorials, all the way up to full social media management. So those are my updates for today. Other than that, check my stories throughout the week. We've got some tips, some definitions and key terms, reminders, and also we're doing some free stuff on Wednesdays and seeking feedback from you on Fridays. I have motion sensor lights in my office, so I guess it's time for me to get up and move around. But I will talk to you again soon. I'll go live again next Monday with some other updates and trends. And other than that, I hope you have a great week. Thanks very much.